All right, guys, today I'm going to be going over my Madden 24 beta thoughts, and I'm going to break this up into 4 categories. And I just want to give you guys my overall feedback on the beta, how it's playing. If I can compare it to anything, I'll try my best too. Now, first and foremost, I played the beta for about like 2 days now. Obviously, no one's going to know like the meta, no one's going to know the best defense, best offense, but we can get a slight idea, right, of like at least how the game is playing. And when I first started playing it, I honestly hated it. It really reminded me of Madden 23, and I'm never one of the people that say Madden is the same game every single year. There's a lot of differences, especially gameplay wise, what's good, what's not good year to year. And I no longer really think that, but I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. But the first thing I want to go over is Playbook. This was one of the things in my wish list that, again, I'm still going to drop the video in about a couple of weeks. But one of my big things was updating playbooks and making a lot of playbooks unique. They for sure did that. Like in the beta notes, they said they added over 500 plays, and it's not just plays, it's like formations. There's so much new stuff. For instance, now there's like shotgun bunch X nasty, shotgun bunch strong X nasty. There's a lot of unique formations that I think are actually really viable and really good, because that's the issue too, right? Like sometimes they would add some things into the game and they just wouldn't be usable because they didn't have enough plays, they didn't have enough like good routes, or the spacing was just awful. So one of the playbooks that I really liked was Colts, and they had like a bunch strong nasty that kind of gave me a little bit of like U-Trips vibes almost. Not really, like not a one-for-one comparison, but I'm just saying, liked running the Colts offense. And again, there's just so many unique things in the game from a playbook perspective. Single back tight doubles, empty triple stack is actually really annoying, and that's one of my biggest positive feedbacks is the playbooks. There's a lot of fun stuff to run, which is really nice. Now, after talking about playbooks, the next thing I want to talk about is crossplay. So crossplay, I know it is the beta, but my god, in online head-to-head, the servers were really bad. And like I said, it's a beta, that's likely to change. But the difference between playing a crossplay game, like I was able to play people on Xbox, I had it on PlayStation, and I even matched up with some PC people in head-to-head. When you play crossplay, it is like you get one adjustment on defense, and you have to try to do that like 15 times in a row for it to actually register. And after the first day, to me, it got slightly better. Like I felt like I could make a solid like 2 adjustments on defense, but again, it's just like not really registering. But again, I think that's something that will be fixed. Like servers, I know the servers aren't necessarily good on Madden 23 right now, but again, I'm just assuming that will be fixed. And also there's the adjustments in head-to-head period. They are really slow on defense. Again, just not registering, but again, I think that will be fixed. Now, those were 2 like pretty broad topics. Now I want to talk about the offense. I'm going to talk about offense, defense, and then lastly, I'm going to talk about franchise. So offense, one of the things that I really liked this year was when the QB hot routes, like you're not just able to make one hot route and snap the ball. I think quick snapping got really nerfed, and especially when the defensive adjustments, like you get like good input in them and you don't have to keep redoing them for them to actually register. Quick hiking is not going to be that good. Obviously, I'm not saying it's going to be bad, but pretty much you make one hot route and you try to snap the ball, but you can't because your QB like does like an animation or whatever. It's pretty much making it to where, like I said, you can't quick hike. Now, in my mind, I'm like, okay, what about an ability like Conductor? Can Conductor make it to where you can quick hike? I don't know yet. And yeah, so I like that. Quick hiking seems to be a little bit nerfed. Now let's talk about freeform as well. Freeform to me felt absolutely awful. I have never overthrown any route in practice like I was in the beta. And to me, it's like if you hold the left trigger at all, it's like it goes way too far. Even on like 1 out of 20, I could barely even lead the receiver without getting an overthrow animation. And I think that's to do with a lot of the times when you're freeforming, it's like they want you to get that diving rack catch that is essentially unKOable. But if you don't get that animation, it's like it just goes like right through their hands and it's not really going to do anything. So maybe that gets fixed. But right now in the beta, I'm running classic passing, which low balls in practice, they were like never inaccurate, but in the game, I kept getting inaccurate low balls. So maybe low balls aren't good, but right now I'm liking the pass leads with classic more than freeform because I can actually rely on, hey, my receiver is breaking in his route, I can just throw it. And speaking of freeform, let's talk about high balls real quick. I think the DBs do a lot better job animating on high balls, and just high balling in general seems to be a lot worse. It might be to the point where high balling and low balling just really isn't that great, which I'm more than okay with. And also, you know how in like 23, where if you have a streak running wide open, you have to high ball it over the top. Even if you do that this year, the DBs get some pretty good SWAT animations. One of the big things I noticed versus like man coverage, at least, right? I really don't think man coverage is that good, I'll be honest. So what I noticed though is I feel like the end breaking routes are better than out breaking routes, specifically in man coverage. Corner routes to me in the beta right now, I don't want to say they're not good because corner routes are always going to be good, like flood concepts in general. But versus man, a prime example I can give you is like flood in route from bunch. I can throw that on the break every single time and catch it, which will bring me to another point in a second. But yeah, just like the end breaking routes a lot more than out breaking routes. Also, running back wheels and wheels in general can absolutely fry man coverage. I don't know if y'all have played Maddens in the past where bunch verticals can beat man, like motioned out and then he just runs upfield. That is something that can happen versus shaded down man a lot. And speaking of motioning out like bunch verticals, that motion a lot of people like to do in Madden 23 where they motion him out, they let him like move his feet a little bit and then snap it. If you know what I'm talking about, like PA read, it's how like a lot of people run PA read this year. You can't do that motion anymore, which I honestly don't like because that was one of my favorite plays. But yeah, in breaking versus out breaking routes, I like the in breaking routes a lot more. Also with corner routes, you have to throw the corner routes with anticipation, because if you don't, if you throw it late, like 9 times out of 10, it feels like they're not going to get their toes in bounds. And while we're on the topic of passing, I want to talk about catching real quick, because I feel like receivers catch everything. And I know we are playing regs right now. There is no KOs. I'll touch on this when we talk about defense a little bit, but it's almost as if you don't want your player to be like right on top of them. Like I swear, like the more covered they are, the more likely they're going to catch it and not get like a knockout animation. Like I know that sounds dumb, but that's how I feel like the game is playing right now. And I'm not talking about like highballing streaks, aggressive catching. I don't want to say it's hard to explain, but it's just like some of the stuff that you can catch is kind of absurd. And I also think running the ball is really good. Running the ball, especially versus like a dollar type of set, I don't think dollar is going to be good run defense. People could get gap shoots for it. They could do all that. Like, of course, they could find a way. But right now in the beta, it seems like dollar is just cooked versus the run, which if you can run on dollar, obviously it makes it a way worse defense. And there's just so many new under center plays, so many other like RPO type of plays that, again, I think could absolutely destroy dollar. But I do want to talk about QB releases as well. Slinger 1 feels a lot worse. Like, honestly, Mahomes release, like the Chiefs might be the best team in regs right now, in my opinion. Travis Kelce with that tight end apprentice and Mahomes' release actually feels pretty decent, but all the QBs releases feel a little bit slower than in years past, which I don't mind, because Slinger 1, Slinger 3, I feel like made the game a lot easier. But also, given the QB releases are like that, that also is going to make running the ball better, because that makes passing worse. And also, I went into franchise just to look at all the releases. Instead of like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, whatever, right? They now have generic slow. I believe it's Slinger 1 through 5, traditional 1 through 7. So in total, there's 14 releases. Got rid of a lot of like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 type of releases. And the final point I want to talk about with offense is rolling out. I think QBs can roll out, and I think rolling out might be really good. Your QB feels fast. It's not like Madden 22 fast, but it's also not Madden 23 slow. You can get out the pocket and you can get that 360 no scope animation that Patrick Mahomes had in the beta, and rolling out might be the wave on offense. People are gonna find a way to go ahead and like slide ID and get a cut block with the running back. They always do. So like I was saying, rolling out could be really good. So defenses with good contains, like say like Dime 236 always has the good contains. That could be a really good defense for you to start out in. Now, speaking of defense, let's go to the topic of defense now. First thing I wanted to say is the loop is back. Looping pressure, I think, is definitely the way to get blitzes to come in. Dollar like DB fire can still come in, and it honestly is really good pass defense, but like I said, it's way worse for us to run. Defense in general, though, it's kind of like Madden 23, Madden 22. Good player versus good player, equal skill versus equal skill. It's going to be like 50-50, and the skill gap right now is looking like clock management and on-siding if you're up, just to make sure you get the ball last. Stuff like that has been in the past years. And I talked about this with offense, but man, I really don't think man is good. And my whole point of that is I think zone is better. I don't really think there's good defense right now with the stuff receivers can catch. But like I was saying, I almost feel like you want to basically put your defenders in like a certain area and just have them have a chance to break on the ball and not be on top of the receiver, because of all the wild like catches. Like, I feel like the best KO animations you're getting right now is when defenders like come down and like knock the ball out. And I think man could be good with KOs for sure. It could. I also think zone could be insane with KOs as well. It's just, like I said, we're playing regs right now. And since I've been playing, all I remember is regs being super offensive anyway. KOs could be really great. I also think acrobat could be a really good ability as well if you're running man, because what I was saying with freeform, right, where they want you to get that diving rack animation, acrobat should be able to dive with it, which I think it's kind of dumb how receivers can dive. DBs kind of can't, but I have seen DBs get some crazy diving swats. So maybe you don't even need acrobat, I'm not gonna lie. And speaking on abilities as well, I know I'm going kind of out of order. There's no new abilities in the game. And that's really all I wanted to cover on defense. Again, I think the loop you're gonna see a lot of if they do not patch it. And that was my thoughts on offense and defense. Final thing I want to talk about is franchise. Franchise to me was fun. I really enjoyed the franchise mini games. At the start of the year, you can play mini games to try to get your players better. It was really fun, I can't lie. Franchise as an offline game mode seems pretty fun to play. But yeah, that was my thoughts on offense, defense, how the game's playing. Seems to be another super offensive Madden where defense is really hard, which I don't like, but at the same time, when KOs get introduced, maybe defense gets a lot better. But yeah, y'all, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. If you guys have played the beta, let me know. Let me know if you guys think I missed on anything, if you noticed something that maybe I didn't touch on in this video. Now, if you did enjoy this video though, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are going to be grinding all of Madden 24, so I'd love to have y'all join the channel. And if you want to see me play live, check the links in the description, hit that Twitch with a follow. We've been grinding the streams over there, so I would really appreciate that. Now, if you don't feel like heading over to Twitch and you want another video to watch, check this one out right here.